The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Cosplay Alliance, our partners and affiliates. This episode of the Cosplay Alliance podcast may contain coarse language or sensitive subject matters. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Cosplay Alliance podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carthern, aka Cosplays by Shinobi. We have a very special guest, DJ CROFT, one of the dopest cosplayers. I might be a little biased, yes, but welcome, DJ.
Hello, Chris. How's it going?
Look, I'm doing great. You know,
You doing great?
MLK Day. I'm doing great.
That's right, MLK Day. That's right. Today's that day.
Look,
Yeah.
There's a few cosplays. One of my dream cosplays that I managed to do a couple of years ago. Simon Phoenix. I saw your Simon Phoenix.
Okay.
Simon Phoenix is one of my favorite characters.
For real.
And you completely destroyed that cosplay. I mean, it was perfect.
Oh wow! I actually never knew someone cosplayed as Simon Phoenix before. I thought it was like one of the first ones.
I know one of the dudes that did it before, and then it's something I wanted to do. Of course, I didn't have the hair, so I just had this foam
hair.
Yeah, I had this foam hair.
Oh my god!
You had the dye. You had it all.
Yeah. So I actually had to grow my hair out for that cosplay. Like when I was the month that I was working on that cosplay, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let my hair grow out. I'm not gonna cut it, and I actually bleached my hair. I bleached it to fit the character. I wasn't gonna use like hair dye or like hair crayon colors or whatever, but I went ahead and just dyed my hair, bleached my hair. So yeah,
art. Hey, it was art.
Thank you. I appreciate you for telling me that.
I don't know if the people know anything about DJ, but he has CROFT. It says DJ CROFT. And one of DJ's main cosplays is Lara Croft.
That's right. The queen of gaming. Yes.
So how do you connect with Lara Croft? Oh
yeah. Listen, I connect with Lara Croft on a spiritual level and a mental level. and so it all started when I was 4 years old. I was playing, So my big cousin Adriana, I love you. I hope she's watching this, but yeah, she had a PlayStation 1. And at the time, PlayStation had the demo disc that you can play different games on. Yeah. So she had the fat PS1, not the slim one. Because this is in the 90s before the slim one came out in the early 2000s, right? So I remember her plugging up the fat PS1, the gray one, and we would just play together. And I discovered this game called Tomb Raider. I was 4 years old. And I can remember it was a female with shorts, 2 guns, with the braid, looking hot, flipping around, shooting guns, that's not the only thing that drew me to her. It was the adventure, the curiosity of going into different rooms, solving puzzles. It was just very adventurous, and I guess it took me out of the real world. I guess you can say that. And on top of her being super badass and hot, and I remember my first game was Tomb Raider 3. It was on the demo disc on PlayStation. It was the Nevada level, Area 51. And I played Tomb Raider 2 demo level, which was the Italy level. So I fell in love with Tomb Raider then. I connect with her because she's very brave. She's brave, she's sassy, witty, sexy. She's confident. She's a badass female character that can do everything. And she's hyper intelligent. And what I love about Lara Croft is she's very curious about the world's history, hidden tombs, artifacts, and that's me. That's how I am. I'm very curious about life. I'm very curious about archaeology as well. But I consider myself a very detail-oriented person. And Lara Croft represents that as well because she pays attention to like all the details of how to like solve a puzzle, or like if she's like learning about an artifact or something like that. So that's how I fell in love with Lara Croft, and I've always wanted to be here. She's like like a part of my soul. Yeah,
So this is interesting because you like archaeology. So you
yeah,
also
I do.
play Indiana Jones.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
that a big reason why?
Yeah. So it's in relation to Lara Croft as well. Indiana Jones, archaeologist, badass guy with the whip. So it's yes, similar story, yeah.
Cool.
And Nathan Drake. Yeah.
And Nathan Drake.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been cosplaying?
So I've been cosplaying since 2016, and that's where my journey began. Back home in Alabama. Yeah.
And what was your first cosplay?
My first cosplay was Lara Croft. It was the classic outfit, the olive green tank top with the pants. I did pants because I'm a male version, not the female version. So instead of shorts, I did the khaki pants, boots, and that's when I actually discovered that I had a talent of knowing how to make things. Because I handmade the backpack out of from scratch. I made the boots. I made the gun holsters from scratch, and at 20, I would say at 24 years old, I think 23 at the time. That's when I discovered my true talent is learning how to craft and learning how to be artistic with my hands and my imagination.
And speaking of which, I did mention your Simon Phoenix. Speaking of your
Yeah,
crafting, you also have a YouTube channel where you show people how you created your
yeah,
cosplay.
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do that because I think that's fair of how to show people um the process that I go through to make these costumes. There's always the ugly stages before you get to the final product, and I just want to show people how I make my costumes, and maybe they can take some tips and tools for me as well.
And do you have people coming up to you asking questions? Because I tell people all the time, for anything, I say, look, I'm very friendly. Just ask me anything if you have any questions. You want to talk about anything? How welcoming? How like are people to approach you?
Yeah. So I get approached a lot. Also online too. People were asking me things like, "Oh, how did you make that? Oh my God, what did you make that out of? Oh my gosh, is this handmade?" And I politely say yes. I hand make everything from scratch, and I tell them I use EVA foam, different types of foams. I get questions online as well, and I try my best to answer them as quick as I can based on my schedule. But yeah, I love telling people how I make my costumes. Yeah.
Okay, so you started cosplay in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What made you? What made you start? What was that kicker?
So I believe that I've always wanted to be in front of the camera. So I've done a lot of modeling, especially in my early 20s. I walked on runways. I was in New York Fashion Week. I walked in a lot of Atlanta Fashion Weeks as well. I've always wanted to be in front of the camera ever since I was a kid. So it was always something about the stars, the lights, and being seen. And I've always gravitated to. Growing up, video games were my source of recreation growing up as a kid. So I was allowed to escape and learn about these characters that I was playing, like Batman or Spider-Man or Lara Croft Tomb Raider or like Tekken or something like that. I learned I learned about these characters, how they act, how they move, and I would try to imitate that and become that, in my mind. So I've always knew as a kid, I've always wanted to be somebody, somebody important.
Yeah.
And I think being in front of the camera has always been what I wanted to do. So I started modeling I started doing that in my early 20s, and I was pretty good at that. And then one day I was like, you know what? I really want to be Lara Croft. I really want to like be this character. And so I decided to, be that character and create that whole like theme for myself in front of the camera. And that's when I discovered, like, oh my gosh, I actually love to play different characters, in front of the camera. So that's how I realized that I wanted to be a cosplayer.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And okay, so Lara Croft would be your favorite character.
Yeah.
But is that your favorite cosplay?
I would say, well, yeah, so it's one of my favorite cosplays, but I would say there's other characters that I've done who I've truly, truly gravitated to. And I will have to say, my Katana cosplay that I just did last year that I just finished. I just feel very like majestic in that cosplay. My White Ranger cosplay. Yeah, growing up as a kid, like I was a huge fan of Power Rangers, like a huge fan. I've always wanted to be a Power Ranger. Just growing up watching Power Rangers to see how they morph. It was a very like powerful moment for me to see them morph, and then it's morphin' time. Then they like transform into like a Power Ranger, like doing flips and tricks and stuff like that. Yeah, I've always wanted to like be that type of figure. So when I put on my White Ranger cosplay, like I just feel so like powerful in that. So that's another one. Another cosplay. I have so many. I have to think. I have to be like.
I'm gonna bring up one because one is crazy.
Yeah.
One is crazy.
Okay.
Hawkman. Like, how long did it take for you to make that?
2 months.
Crazy.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, that cosplay was very, very interesting well, I would say that character was very interesting to be, because so actually I would say that was the first time in my cosplay career that I would say I started maybe showing a little bit more skin, with my Hawkman. If I can recall correctly, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna bite the bullet. I'm not gonna be shy anymore. I'm gonna, show more skin and see how that goes. And I actually felt very comfortable in front of the camera, with my shirt off and stuff like that. Because usually I get a little self-conscious about stuff like that sometimes. But with the wings, it just felt very like it felt like I was a bird, It felt, yeah. I was a bird, so yeah, it was a very interesting cosplay to do.
And speaking of, so you had to be fit for that.
Listen, you can be fit, you can be skinny, you can be whatever size. Cosplay to me is you can do whatever you want. But speaking to what you're saying, I guess maybe, yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Also, another cosplay I just associate with you because I think I met you when you were wearing this Superman.
Was it at Dragon Con?
Yeah.
I love Superman. Like, he gives me the same feeling that I would say my White Ranger costume makes me feel. Just seeing those male characters growing up, being a male figure, being a positive figure, and being, masculine and stuff like that. So being Superman just makes me feel very like good as a man, Yeah, with the cape and everything flowing. So my Superman cosplay gets a lot of attention, especially at Comic Cons, online. A lot of kids approach me. A lot of adults, they really love the Superman like look, and so I gravitate to that, positivity and everybody, loving me and Superman. Yeah.
Let's talk about conventions. What was your first convention?
My first convention was Huntsville Comic Con back in Huntsville, Alabama, which is where I'm from originally. Yeah. And this was 2015, I think. Yeah.
And what was that experience like?
It was a new experience. I never been to a Comic-Con before. That's when I started I think that's when I started cosplaying. I believe this had to be around 2016. I believe. Yeah. Because Rise of the Tomb Raider had just come out, and I was cosplaying as the outfits from Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Okay.
So, and I remember I went to Huntsville Comic Con wearing one of the outfits from Rise of the Tomb Raider. So it had to be somewhere between 2015 2016. But it was interesting. I had my little cousin with me, Arquise, and it was a really interesting new experience for me. I mean, I loved it. I was around people who were just like me, nerdy. I didn't feel like an outcast. I feel like I wasn't judged for being like nerdy or into like video games. And I was able to, I remember I had like a few conversations with people about like video games, who's your favorite character and like this and this genre. And then it just felt like a safe place, for me to be nerdy, and like kind of geeky and talk about different things.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that was my first Comic-Con. And I also felt artistic because I created everything on that costume. And I met other, people who made their costumes as well. So it just felt almost like I was walking into like RuPaul's Drag Race, to compare, people showing up with their like costumes they've made, and we're sitting in groups talking about it, how we made this, how we made that, and networking and stuff like that. And that's when I knew this was going to be something that I was going to pursue. Yeah.
Okay. And so what is it about, like, I know you talk about like being able to have these conversations. What do you think is one of the best parts of being in the cosplay community?
Yeah, see, so look, I already smiled when you asked that. It's I love this sense of like togetherness, with the community. We outside of the cosplay world, the real world, it's just so much like segregation, so much like hate, so much like judgment and all that stuff. And in the cosplay world and the cosplay community, especially when I go to conventions, we all seem together, and there's like a lot of love, not a lot of judgment. It's so positive. Everybody's like free spirited. They're not closed minded.
Yeah.
And I love that because me as a person, my character, I'm very free spirited. I'm very open minded. I'm very inclusive, equality. So
Yeah.
and also I love having fun too. And I think at Comic Cons, I feel a lot of that. I just feel like I'm at home, and I'm able to share my artistic skills, and walk around and like present that to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm recalling a memory. Back, this was like 2 years ago now, almost, like WonderCon. It was like the first night. It's the first time we like really hung out, and we like. We went to get the chicken and waffle spot, right?
Yeah, you know what? I think about that all the time.
And
I was thinking about that before we started. When we started this, yeah.
That's what I love about being a part of the community. It's just like it's not just we just dress up and go and go to the con and spend all day. Yeah, no, we actually go and hang out and do other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
actually get to talk.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. And I've met some of the like nice people in the cosplay community and a lot of my friends as well. I find people in the cosplay community to be very nice and like understanding of other people. I noticed that, and understanding of their differences as well. And that night, man, it was so great spending time with you, getting to know you and stuff like that. My chicken and waffles was good.
It was hit.
Yeah. It was great. Yeah.
So, what are you working on right now? Anything that you can drop? Any exclusive?
Yeah, I can tell you. Well, yeah, I can tell all of you. Yeah. So I just finished my Umbreon cosplay from Pokemon. Yeah. So I've been teasing it a little bit on social media. I just finished it. I have an event that I will be flying out to this weekend where I will be a special guest at. So I'm assigned to cosplay as Umbreon and Luffy. So yeah, so I'm presenting two cosplays this weekend. So the event, so it's called Next Legacy. So it's gonna be in Times Square. Voice actor,
Word.
yeah. The voice actor Aaron, who voices Umbreon and Eevee and stuff like that, she's gonna be another special guest alongside me, and I think that's about it. I think it's just me and her, but I'm gonna be one of the special guests there this weekend where I'm assigned to cosplay Umbreon and Luffy. So those will be two cosplays that I will be presenting very soon. And I'm working on my male version Melina cosplay from Mortal Kombat.
Well,
Yeah,
we love Mortal Kombat is one of those franchises for me that I've just, you know, I hold dearly because I've been playing that game since I was a kid.
same here. Listen,
So
same. Yeah, me and you both. I first played Mortal Kombat on my first video game console of all time, which was a Sega Saturn. Yep, I remember.
wow, Sega Saturn.
Yep, I was a kid. I was like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, and I love Mortal Kombat since then. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love. I would say Mortal Kombat ranks in top five with my favorite video games. Yeah, for sure.
Now you mentioned guessing. How long have you been getting guessing opportunities?
Man, I can't recall. I mean, I'll say since like 3 years now. I think 3 years. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
big. Congratulations. That is
Thank
big.
you, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I feel very humbled. You know, I feel very humbled that my work is being seen and that what I do is being appreciated. And so that means the world to me that I can go and present that at a Comic Con and meet people and meet, some fans of mine and stuff like that. So I look forward to this one this weekend. It's going to be a Pokemon event. So I'm so excited. Yeah.
I literally, this memory just popped in my head. Dragon Con. Was it the first night? Were you a UPS?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking about last year.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Listen, I was with my friends Jason, Ben, and Drew. So we all decided to do UPS because the whole like meme, the whole like FedEx meme that was happening for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So my friend Jason found out that they're going to be at Dragon Con presenting themselves, and so we were like, hold up, like we're gonna do UPS and we're gonna outshine you guys because UPS is a little better. I don't even listen. I don't even step foot into like FedEx. No shade, but like I don't. I go to UPS honestly. So we came up with the idea to like shade FedEx. You know, and
That's
so
hilarious.
all of us, yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So we all showed up with our little signs. Fed up with FedEx, come to UPS. We have big packages, very big packages. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really fun time. And of course the FedEx people were like, boo, boo. And we're like, boo, boo, you suck. Like, we are the top dogs, not you guys. Yeah.
Oh my. That just hit me. I was like, I remember. Yeah, that was hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so great. It was so great. I love all the love that we received from everybody too. But it was super hilarious.
Okay. Do you have any cosplay pet peeves?
I don't know. You might have to be more specific. More specific, because I don't know. Like, are you referring to?
It could be from interactions like I know some people will come in instead of asking to like, oh, can I touch a prop without asking or something like that. It could be anything, or taking your pictures while you're eating, anything that you're just like, oh,
No,
can you just
no.
wait?
So for me, I'm very open and very friendly with people. I don't mind if they come up and touch me or touch my props or want to take pictures of me while I'm eating, I will politely stop what I'm doing and get up and take pictures with people. A pet peeve for me will be, honestly, the last thing that I can think of is people who are rude.
Okay.
Like, just like in a sense of like, you try to be nice. Hey, how you doing? Or, oh my gosh, I like your costume. And they just like give attitude or a certain energy. Like, I guess that's a pet peeve. But I can't really think of anything else because I'm pretty much open to like any type of behavior.
You're for sure
That's
one
good
of the
behavior.
friendliest, cosplayers out there.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate it. I try my best to be the change in the world that I want to see. The world is already a wicked place and full of like crappy people. So, in order for me to see that change, I have to be it myself. And I hope that I can like inspire people to be, better human beings through my service of like being nice and kind and stuff like that. And I was raised that way too. It's part of my values and morals. So
love that. Be the change you wanna see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk conventions.
Okay.
What are your top conventions? Your favorite conventions to go to?
Dragon Con and LA Comic Con.
Ooh.
And LA Comic Con. Yes. But Dragon Con is top tier.
Dragon Con's me. I've been to LA Comic Con once. Now I didn't go this past year because they moved the date.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't make it.
Because
it was pushing up with like New York at that time.
Yeah. I've been to New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is epic. Okay. I remember after the Comic Con, we went through like a club down in the basement. And it's some
with
like
ping pong tables or
I think it was ping pong table. Maybe
yeah,
I think.
Spin. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love when you walk into New York Comic Con. It's like everything's glass, like glass ceiling and everything. But I have to give it to Dragon Con simply because you will receive everything at Dragon Con. You have you got the people who show up who are artists who make their costumes. You have people who show up just because they do it for fun. You have people who show up because they just want to be there to be like, just to have fun, to enjoy the convention. There's like the raves, the drinks, the parties, the hookups. Trust me, at Dragon Con, I love Dragon Con because people become more open with their with their sexuality, I guess. Yeah. So
agree.
it's just like it's very fluid. It's very like free spirited, and I love that because in the real world, outside of cosplay, everybody's suppressed who they really are, because of society norms and the pressure to fit in or the pressure because your friends might judge you or your family might judge you, But I feel like, and that's why I love Dragon Con and just Comic Cons, period, because I feel like people can just be their true, authentic selves and nobody judges you.
Yeah.
It's like a fantasy world, and people get lit and people have fun, and people get lit. But not only that, it's almost like RuPaul's Drag Race. You come across a lot of people and you're like, wow, you made that. Or like, wow, you made that. Oh my gosh, you look so amazing. Tell me how you made this. And then, people give me compliments too. And it's almost like convention for like artists, people who show up and they want to show people what they can do. And I've seen some incredible things at Comic-Con, at Dragon Con, that truly inspiring me to just be a better person. Yeah. So yeah, all that. Dragon Con is epic, and I think it's one of the biggest Comic Cons I think in the United States, if I can recall, because it takes place in like 6 hotels, and it takes up like a huge part of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's definitely my favorite con.
Yeah,
it just so happened to be my first con I went to, which is crazy. Also, like I would not recommend that be your first con though.
No, no, especially for someone who has anxiety or is like an introvert.
Yeah.
They should start smaller. Yeah.
Seriously. What has cosplay taught you?
You know what cosplay has taught me? Cosplay has taught me my true talents, and it's taught me what my true purpose is in life, as far as like my career and what I want to do and who I want to be. Like I told you earlier, I love to play different characters. I love to be like an actor, like like I told you, I've been in the camera and stuff like that a lot in my life. But it taught me to be myself and to and to live through that journey and know it's a safe place for me to be myself without being judged. I can be nerdy, I can be weird, I can be a character, and I can just be myself. And because in the real world, I've faced a lot of challenges my whole life, just being Black and also being gay as well. And also, I would say just being super open minded because, you know, sometimes you don't find a lot of open minded people. And like, it's hard for you to find people who are open minded. So in the cosplay world, like, I just feel like it just elevates me, to the next level of my like self-esteem, confidence, and who I am as a person. And like I said, it taught me my true talent, which is being a performance artist.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned you like being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And we've also talked about how much you love Lara Croft. You did a
Yeah.
fan film.
Yeah. I did.
Whose idea was that?
It was my idea.
It was your idea. So how did you go about the process of creating the fan film?
Yeah, so I remember, so I literally sat in my computer and I typed the whole script. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this from the game. I'm gonna take this idea from the game. So I'm gonna type the script up and give the story characters and like I'm gonna make this happen. I'm gonna be this character in real life. Okay, I made sure that happened. So I found the videographer, and we broke down the film and like the scenes and the script and stuff like that, and we made it happen, and it felt great. Now I do want to be in an actual like real movie as the male version of Lara Croft. Yeah, like in Hollywood, LA.
So
yeah.
I'm sorry. One follow-up question to that right now. Is that something you're currently writing, or is that
no,
something similar? You want something similar to that?
Yeah. Something similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm calling it right now. On the big screen, we're gonna have DJ CROFT.
Yeah.
Badass character. I'm calling it right now.
Badass character. Yep. That's it.
Right now.
I'm calling it right now too. I've been calling it. Yeah.
And I mean, I guess success, whatever success is defined for you, I would say that you're a successful cosplayer, and you can define that however you want to. But what do you think makes you a successful cosplayer?
Knowing my talents and my skills, and I would say challenging myself to elevate, and not giving up and not quitting, I will say, and also loving what you do. Because if you don't love, what you do, then there's no such thing as success. So I've found success through the passion, through playing different characters and creating these different looks and putting everything together from starting from a little concept to bringing it through real life. And then I think being able to achieve that and execute that every single time, I find that to be success, and to be recognized for that. Yeah.
You said something that was, for me, very, very, you said you won't be successful if you don't like what you're doing. And I think that is, or you can't, that's not success, right?
Yeah.
And I will agree with that, because you'll never be fulfilled.
Yeah.
If you're doing something that you don't love. Now, I say I would stop cosplaying if I didn't love it, or I didn't. I do it because it's fun. If it wasn't fun anymore, I wouldn't do it. So, And I think people get to a point where they're trying to reach certain goals and it stops becoming fun for them. But their focus is something else within the cosplay realm, but somewhere along that way they lose the fun, they lose the joy that they had trying to achieve certain goals. I think what you said was very important.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, you do, because it's a lot of work. It's not. People think it's easy when you're like a professional cosplayer, someone who like makes all their costumes, and then and then have to like find concepts and then put those concepts together, then create the costume, and then try to imitate the character, then trying to get a photographer, and then trying to do all the work with selecting the best photos, and it's a lot. So I feel like you have to have a passion for it, and you also got to be ready for negative comments or like people not liking your stuff, and you have to be okay with that, especially when you're in front of the camera, you know, or on social media. You have to be prepared for like negative comments and negative people. But I think the moral of that is you have to love yourself enough, and you have to know your self worth to know how much you are worth doing what you're doing. And I think it shouldn't matter what nobody else say, you know, because I mean, who are they? I mean, they're not making costumes, putting them on and being in front of the camera. So you have to let these people just behave like low quality people. And I think I think it takes being strong minded as a cosplayer, because it's a lot of work.
That's true. So,
Yeah.
so you ignore the hate, essentially.
Of course I do,
Yeah.
because these people don't know me. They don't know me personally. They don't know where I've come from in my life, that I've had, like all the challenges that I've had to overcome to get to where I'm at today. They don't know that I put a lot of work into this like project that I just completed. I always tell people, let me give you the tools. Let me see what you can make out of this, and you put it on and see how ridiculous you look. Yeah. So, and it's just through the years of battling a lot of discrimination, I think that has toughened me up, and it has taught me to love myself and to stop taking crap from people. And so that's also a factor that plays a part in how I'm able to like avoid negative stuff. It's not worth it.
So you think so? Yeah, let's get into that. So you think cosplay has basically helped your mental health and how you feel about yourself?
Wait, say that again.
You think cosplay has helped your mental health and how you feel about yourself?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Tremendously. Because in my early 20s, late teens, I was kind of lost with like what I wanted to do in life. I do have other things I do in my life currently, but this aspect of my life, cosplay, um, I didn't quite in my early 20s. I didn't quite understand my purpose in life or what I wanted to do. And so yeah, I think cosplay has given me purpose.
Okay. This is good.
Yeah.
This is I love it. I love it to hear, you know, when someone finds their passion and able to thrive in it. It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, and I encourage everybody to follow find their passion. You get one shot at life. You shouldn't waste it or let it go. You gotta make the best out of it. Find what you like. Do it. Don't hold back. Yeah.
Don't hold back. You hear you have a goal, you have anything, or you're interested in something, jump into it. As DJ talked about, he started, using cardboard to
Yep.
build this stuff.
I did. I did. And then I challenged myself and I try to challenge myself to use other type of material. So, that's been my journey.
So I feel like you adapt, you're in the spirit of the character of whoever you're cosplaying. Is that important to you?
Yes, yeah. Especially if you're trying to capture people's, attention, because you got to remember, you are in front of the camera. You are exposing yourself to thousands and hundreds of people. So for me, I have to make sure that I remember that. And this relates to, my my acting personality of me. I have to remember I'm in front of the camera. I can't be myself. I have to like be these characters for it to be believable to people, right? So I think that's really important because all the hard work I put into the cosplay, I can't just show up in front of the camera and just be myself and not do the right poses, not give the right spirit, the right energy. I want to make sure I execute and get the character right. So I hope that answers your question because I think I'm going off a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm getting a little passionate.
that's it. You want to capture that, the essence of the character, and that's
Yeah.
Shows.
Yeah, and that's the fun part about it. That's the fun part about it. And I'm not doing it, I wouldn't say I'm just doing it just because to please other people, but that's the fun part about it. And that's why I love doing what I do because I can play and portray different characters. I love being different, every single moment when I'm in a different cosplay. I mean, shoot, I love being different in my own personal life. I would say I'm not like anybody else. I don't fit in with everybody else. So, that translates to my cosplay. So I just love like that mystery of being a different person. It's fun,
I skipped a cosplay.
You skipped the cosplay.
Now,
Okay.
There's a game I love to play.
What's that game?
Currently, and you cosplay a character, Aloy.
Yeah, Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah. That's a great. Like, first of all, I don't think I've ever seen a gender bend Aloy. First of all, I don't think I've seen that before.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure. How did you go about putting that together?
Man, I was playing the game, so I really love Horizon Forbidden West. I didn't play the first one. I started with the second one, and I just think she was a dope character with her long red hair and like her like all her gear and all that stuff. And it's also the game is like a sense of adventure relating to why I love Lara Croft and Nathan Drake and stuff like that. So this cosplay. At this time, I was like, you know what? I don't believe I can do this. I don't believe I can make this costume. But then I had someone tell me, you know what? You can do this. Like, look at all the other things you have created so far. And I was like, I was like, you know what? You're right. I can freaking do this. And that was one of the first challenges I wouldn't say one of the first challenges because I've challenged myself through other cosplays, but like this was a big stepping stone for me because when you look at Aloy, the character, and her outfit, it is extremely detailed. It's like so many little like pieces. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to put my mind to it. I'm going to make this costume no matter how long it takes me to make it. And so I looked at her concept. I did not want to cosplay as her default outfit, like the beige looking outfit with the red and blue checker design. I was playing the game and I unlocked an outfit. I was like, you know what? I think this one would be dope for what DJ wants to do. So I pretty much went online, screenshotted that outfit, and I started referencing how can I make this costume? What material do I need? What pieces will I start with? And so I already knew I was going to do the hair, but being a person with curly hair, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do dreads, not straight hair.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? I would look ridiculous with straight hair. Why not just embrace my natural, Afro hair and do dreadlocks, like red dreadlocks, as just as long as hers, but just dreadlocks. And with me being a certain skin tone, brown skin, her red hair is very bright. That was not gonna look good on my skin. So I tweaked it a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'm a black man, so I'm gonna do like a copper reddish color,
Mm-hmm.
because I do have knowledge, a little bit of knowledge in cosmetology. I never went to school for it, but
Okay.
I had a job before where I was dealing with hair and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with a copper red because that's gonna match my skin tone, but still give that look of Aloy. So I went with so that was already the first step. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do dreads to like stand out. So all the other pieces, it took me a long time. It was my first time working with fabric too. Um, yeah, I don't sew, but I still do a lot of like gluing and putting together things. So I was nervous. I wasn't for sure how the costume was going to come out, but halfway through making all the pieces and stuff, I was like, okay, I got this. I can finish this on time. I can do this. I believe in myself, and I got it done. And I just remember when I put all the pieces on, I was like, wow, like I did this. And then my photographer, we went out and did a shoot. Like I said, I played the character, so I was able to imitate her. Her hair flows a lot in like promotional images.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make sure that I portrayed that. It's kind of tricky when you're doing like action stunts when you're taking photos
Yeah.
because, you know, when you're doing something like Aloy where her hair flows a lot,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I have to get my hair to flow. How can I do that? I was like, yeah, let me just turn my hair real quick and
Yeah.
then try to get my face right for the photo when my face when he snaps the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we got the perfect shot. I think yeah, it's on my social media. That very first photo I posted where I had the bow and arrow and the hair was like flowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That photo was taken by a second before I was able to get my face into character because I was turning and then I had to like snap into character quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really enjoy being here. It's something about her hair that feels so good on me. Just having like that long hair just flowing everywhere. It just feels very like majestic.
Love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So the process of cosplay, like what do you enjoy the most? Designing, building, or actually cosplaying?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what I don't enjoy the most. It's cutting out all the pieces. Yo, like taking a piece of paper, drawing out shapes for those shapes to be placed on my like on
Mhm.
like EVA foam or like some type of material to be cut out. I dread through that part. I dread through like cutting out all the pieces. But my favorite part would be like painting. Actually, I love like painting the pieces and stuff like that. And of course, I love when I'm able to put it on and like it's done and I'm portraying the character. It feels like a breath of fresh air because you don't understand. Like, I really hate cutting out pieces, piece after piece after piece after piece. My Melina cosplay right now, I have so many pieces laid out over here on the floor. I dread it through that process. Oh my God. Same thing with my Aloy in my White Ranger and like on my other cosplays. Like I dread through cutting out pieces. I don't know why. I just do. But my favorite part would be, you know, painting and like making it look pretty and gluing all the props and pieces together and it's starting to look like something. Um and it makes me feel like proud in that process when I start to see what I envision starting to look like what I thought it would look like when I start putting everything together and like painting it and stuff like that. That's my favorite part. Yeah.
Okay. What are some of the places that cosplay has taken you?
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, you know what? Makes me slightly emotional, but like cosplay has like opened up so many doors for me to travel. You know, I've never thought that I would be in LA, Los Angeles. You know, I like a guy who comes from Alabama. Well, I've always wanted to be in a big city, a more liberal, progressive state,
Yeah.
around free spirited, open minded people. And California was always that dream place for me. for me to be, and like for me to have that opportunity to be a special like cosplay guest at LA Comic Con, like 2 years recently. That was a dream come true. And I had my first time in LA. I had the best time of my life. It's like the universe was preparing for me to have this moment, but to have that moment in that particular time in my life, my first year as a cosplay guest at LA Comic Con, it's like everything just came together. Like all my struggles, everything I've been through, everything I work hard to go through, all the things that I've been through in life, and to overcome that, and like just meeting all these awesome people, like great people in LA, and like really amazing like cosplayers, and just being in LA itself. You know, the vibe is everything.
Yeah,
It's so free over there. It's so like chill. It's so like progressive and liberal, and so many people, and a lot of people like open minded, and it was so great, man. Like I'll say LA. I've been able to go to New York Comic Con because I was a special guest there too for a cosplay like competition that I was like competition Twitch show that I was on, cosplay.
okay.
I was able to be there. Dragon Con, of course. What else? Chicago, Philadelphia. I've been able to travel, and that's been one of the greatest things. And meeting different people who are actually a lot of like things in common with.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got some newbies out here and things like that. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah. I would say it's like, don't follow the crowd. Be you. Don't try to be this other cosplayer because they have a lot of followers, or that kind of cosplayer because they have a lot of followers. Because at the end of the day, behind the screen, we are all human, and none of us are better than the next human being. You know, no one's superior or no one's inferior to another human being. Just because someone looks pretty in front of the camera, they look like they're doing their thing with cosplay and they're badass. That still doesn't mean they have. That doesn't mean when they get off. That doesn't mean when they remove from the camera or from the phone that they don't deal with like personal struggles, or that doesn't mean that they still deal with real life. So I always tell people, like, remember that other cosplayers are just humans, just like you are too. No one's better than you in life, nor in cosplay. And I want to tell people, just be yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. And I would say, like, do cosplay characters that you resonate with first. Well, I would say always first, but like very, very, very first, be your favorite character of all time. For me, it was Laura Croft. I wasn't I wasn't gonna be Superman first. I wasn't gonna be Nathan Drake first. I was gonna be Laura Croft first, because that's the main character that I resonate with. And I want to tell people, if you're gonna get into cosplay, do a character that you truly embody with, because that's how you're gonna be able to really enjoy it and like get into it and be yourself, to attract other people and positive energy and stuff like that. And cosplay is a form of art. So you don't always have to be a person who build things. You don't have to be a person who have to be an artist. You can just buy costumes and put it on. That's okay. It's a safe space. You can be yourself. Whether you make costumes or don't, just with a cosplayer.
Completely 100 agree with everything DJ just said. Now, as we were wrapping up, is there anything you wanna get out there?
Yeah.
What do you want the people to know?
Yeah. So I have a few things coming up that I want people to be aware of. I'm going to open up an Etsy store. I'm going to start selling my cosplay prints. Okay. So right now, my Etsy store is currently in test. Like, I'm testing it. It's in, like, I guess you can say, beta mode. So it's not officially published yet, but it is already on the website. But next month, I'm gonna officially announce my Etsy store. I have my event this weekend, Next Legacy. If you're in the New York area in Times Square, please come see me. I have new cosplays that I'm working on this year that I can't announce. They're a little, secret right now. And I have other Comic Cons that I would be a special guest at as well that I can't announce right now.
Okay.
So that's what you guys can expect from me right now within the next 3 months. And what I want to say to the world, is I'm gonna be straight up. If you want equality and inclusion, then you be about equality and inclusion. Because right now, the world right now, especially the United States, is looking it's very divided. With race, politics, anything. We have to remember that we are all the same species. We are all human. We all bleed red. And I want to encourage people out there to remember that what I'm telling you. It's our turn. It's our chance to fight for good, to knock away all the evilness and all the bad stuff that's happening, especially right now in the media, and everything that's happening with politics and everything, and be the change that you want to see in the world. Don't be a hypocrite. And I want to encourage people to be beautiful yellow sunflowers and just spread the light, spread the yellowness, spread the positive energy, and be inclusive. Love each other. So that's what I want to say to people. And be yourself.
Be yourself. Look, I'm telling you, DJ, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it really has.
We will see each other soon. Also, tell everyone where they can find you at.
Yeah, so I'm DJ CROFT across all of my platforms: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. So that's where you guys can find me. I really enjoy, talking to you today and catching up with you, and getting, and being able to speak my truth about certain things. And this has been a real pleasure, man. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Hey, same here. Appreciate you for joining in, and being able to just talk about you and a little bit about your journey. I'm sure it's going to help someone out there.
Thank you, and I hope it does, because I know that's what my purpose is in life, is to be the change and make the world a better place. So that's all I can do. I can't be anything else.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, look, this is Chris Carthern, DJ CROFT, signing off the Cosplay Alliance podcast on this beautiful MLK Day.
That's right. MLK. Appreciate you guys. All right.
If you're watching this episode on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out other episodes of the Cosplay Alliance podcast. The Cosplay Alliance podcast is also available in audio format on all major podcast